Welcome back, Wayward Souls, at the Double Tap In, episode 73. I don't know why it's so solemn.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not awake yet.
It fucking is 11:30 in the afternoon or in the morning. Like
I said, maybe I'm not awake yet.
Yeah, I've been up since.
Which is why I'm drinking a shit ton of coffee right now.
Yeah. We had a late night last night with the time changes and all that kind of stuff with the kids. It's been a little rough trying to get them reacclimated.
Yeah.
So Rachel was at school a little later than normal. She was bringing Harper home. Harper falls asleep in the car. I'm running around with Lincoln. And for the longest time, he slept in his car seat, like even at home. So you put him in the car seat and take him for a ride, that boy is out.
Done.
Yeah. So we get home, and in the process of bringing him in, he wakes up. Well, he had been napping for the last 25, 30 minutes. So now he's ready to fucking go. It's like, holy cow. Like, he was up till 9:30, 10 o'clock last night.
Mm-hmm.
And Harper... Yeah. He Harper was asleep at like 6:15, and when I went in to get her at 6:15 this morning, because she needed a shower. She didn't shower last night. She was the homegirl was racked. She was not budging. Like,
yep.
It's crazy. So hopefully we're getting them back on schedule and got things coming along nicely with them.
So what's your opinion of daylight savings time?
It's fucking dumb.
So 47 is considering doing away with daylight savings time.
They've been talking a lot. Politicians in general, I feel, have been talking a lot about getting rid of daylight savings.
Yes.
To the point where that's great. Talk about it all you want. I really don't give a shit until you actually do it.
Yep.
Like, I don't care. It's dumb.
Yep. It's I saw a thing this morning, actually, during my first period of being awake, that if they did away with daylight savings time, folks in Chicago wouldn't have sunrise until like 9:15 in the morning.
What?
Hey, man, it's the internet. I don't know. That's what they said.
No.
And I said, okay, I don't give a fuck about Chicago. I care about me. I care about this physical address right here. And I know that when we fall back, dude, this fucking 4:45 sunset shit fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I'm off. My dogs are off. Everything is off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck that shit.
They would have sunrise at 9 a.m. That's fucking dumb. Yeah.
They specifically said 9:15. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. There ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
The
person that shared that is the same person that says that Meta, if they post that thing that Meta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're fucking dumb.
Yep.
Dumb.
Yep, exactly. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I post that warning, every 3 weeks, just so Meta knows that they can't take my information and share my pictures and do all that shit. And they're not going to charge me $4.99 a month.
Yeah, exactly. just so everybody knows, if you don't pay for a service like InstaTweet, TikTok, the Face Space, like you're the product. You're what's being sold.
That's correct.
Like 100%. You can push whatever you want. You can't share my shit. That you're still like using their service for free. You're the product. If you don't like it, don't use it.
Folks don't understand how the internet works.
Yeah.
If you post something on the internet, Guess what that is?
Yeah.
It's free to everybody.
Every fucking body.
Yep. So you can't say, don't use my images, don't use this, don't use that. They can because you posted it on the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Hate to break that shit to you.
It's like if I go out and post a picture on the fucking telephone pole in front of my house. Don't use this. It's fucking there for everybody to see. What do you think?
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Yeah. Don't do dumb shit.
Well, that would be a nice post.
It is a wonderful post. I think they just changed it a couple years ago. Lovely post.
Yeah.
So.
Off the fucking rails. We did so good for like 4 or 5 episodes.
We did.
Off the fucking rails, man.
And this one, it wasn't just like a little off the rails. It went off the rails down the fucking black hole.
So what is our topic today, Ben?
Today is brisket reloaded. So
six minutes in. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So one of our first couple episodes when we were getting started, kicking this thing off was we went, I think it was chicken,
pulled pork,
and the pulled pork was first. That's right. Mm-hmm. And then we did we did that. We did an airing of the grievances, and then we did the big bad brisket.
Yep.
And in that time, it's not really that much has changed about brisket.
Other than the fucking price. Jesus.
Well, yeah, the price. Yeah. But it's just that you see stuff and you're like, I'll try that. So you try it. And so in that time since we did that, and let me see if I can tell you when that episode came out.
In doing this, we follow a shit ton of people on social media, and everybody has their way of doing brisket. Majority of them follow a tried and true method, and then there are a few outliers that say, why not try this? Why not try that? And that's what we're going to touch upon today, I think.
Yeah. So the original Big Bad Brisket came out May 9th of 24. So, in that time, we've seen a lot of stuff come across our social media. We've cooked a brisket or two since then. And, why not talk about brisket again? Because everybody loves brisket. Yep. So, I think one of the things that we talked about the first go around, and it kind of comes into all of our conversations when we're smoking a protein, is a binder. Historically, the binders on briskets are mustard. Everybody knows that I'm an absolute slut putting some mayo on my proteins. I did 2 pulled porks yesterday. I'm doing 2 more today. Chicken, turkey, they're all getting the Duke's mayo. You know what's not getting Duke's mayo? My brisket.
Your brisket.
Just not happening.
Now, if you slap that fucker on a slab of bread, I want some Duke's mayo, maybe a little horseradish, a little onion, that kind of shit. But when I'm cooking, I don't use a binder. We all know I don't use a binder. But I will tell you this. I'm considering it.
Yeah? For what? For
I want to. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing pulled pork with the Dukes, because you talk about it, and I've come to realize that maybe I shouldn't be so narrow-minded about my shit. I've done it with mustard. That's how I started, and never saw a difference. Any of that shit. Maybe it needs some Dukes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's not going to be for a client or anything like that, but because you don't experiment in that situation. But Jennifer and I'll try it.
Yeah. What do you got to lose?
I don't know. I might go to hell for it. I might go to barbecue hell. You just never know.
Yeah, I'll see you there. We'll have a great time.
Pick me up on the way, would you?
Yeah. We're gonna be driving the bus. Who gives a shit?
You're right. Yeah. Taking Annie.
Yeah. Perfect. So this is something that we've talked about. I know in the original episode, we've talked about it a couple times in between then and now, but trimming your brisket.
Mm-hmm.
What in the absolute fuck are some of these people doing trimming their briskets?
I have no idea. It's I mentioned it in pre-show. Follow a guy on TikTok who, when he trims a brisket, there is no fat left on. Now, he swears it's the best thing since sliced bread because there's plenty of marbling, there's plenty of fat in the brisket. It's still juicy. And I'll give him props. When he cuts the brisket and squeezes it, it's a squirter. I'll give him that, Okay. My concern isn't it's retaining juice on the inside. What is that outer layer like? What's protecting it from the heat? What's keeping the outside layer from getting leathery, dry, crusty, whatever? Now, bark, I get it. I'm talking an excessive amount.
Mm-hmm.
What's stopping it from doing that? So, at some point, I'm going to have to try it. Because here I am talking shit, but I haven't done it.
Yeah.
So I just have to get enough balls to go spend $80 on a slab of meat that potentially I'm going to fucking ruin, and it's going to be chili meat.
But that's going to be great chili.
Agreed.
That's going to be some really good chili.
But making chili with $70 worth of fucking brisket, I don't know if that's in my wheelhouse right now.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
My question is, people, when they trim their brisket, I understand getting rid of the hard fat.
Sure. Yeah, it's not going to render. It's not going to do anything. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. This guy that you're talking about, you're talking about the fat that's in the brisket. Well, the fat is in the brisket is mostly at the point.
Correct.
So now you have the flat part of the brisket unprotected, and there's really not there's no fat in it. So I'm curious, and I think you mentioned that he's from the land down under.
I believe so.
I think they have a different, a brisket to them is different than what a brisket is to us.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
A brisket to them might strictly be the point. So in that case, you got no problems cutting that off and cooking the point like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're cooking that whole brisket like we cook, you're gonna ruin that flat.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Yeah. The thing that in my mind that I always struggle with when it comes to trimming a brisket is how much people cut off of the brisket. Yes. They have the brisket looks fantastic. It really does. It's a beautiful piece of meat when they're done with it.
Yep.
However, you've cut off just as much as you're going to cook in some cases.
You'll cut off as much as you're going to end up with in a finished product.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. People always talk about trimming it off so the edges are straight, and they trim off the corners so they don't get tough and dried out.
Yeah. They're aerodynamic. So the heat flows over this and doesn't hit a little divot and create a burn spot. And Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I've not experienced that.
No. When I helped a local restaurant when they were getting up and going, the executive chef, that's how he wanted his briskets trimmed. Then he couldn't understand why the profit margin was fucked up.
Well, it's because you're cutting off
you're cutting off 6 pounds of fucking fat.
Yeah.
That is going to add to your total weight at some point. Some of it's going to be gone. You're going to lose 50% of your weight anyway.
Yeah.
But when you're removing it right from the jump, yeah. So you have to figure, if you're paying, just round numbers, if you're paying $5 a pound for brisket, all of a sudden you're paying $10 a pound for your finished product.
Yeah.
So you have to take that in consideration when you're doing shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you're just chunking that shit away and not making sausage out of it, or
so that's I would give you I'll give you that, or I'll give you take that soft fat and you render it down to tallow. Mm-hmm. Like that I can understand.
Sure.
But like you said, if you're just like, I'm not going to make sausage with it. I don't have a grinder. Not that I can't get a grinder, but I'm not going to make sausage with it. Like, let's be real here. I'm not going to do it. So for me to cut that off makes no sense. And, we talked about it when we first started talking about trimming it. It makes it more aerodynamic. If you leave the corners on it, they get burnt and they dry out. Well, like if you take the corners off, they still say you should go back and put some foil over it so it doesn't get burnt. Well, if I leave the corners on it, then the corners get burnt and I cut them the fuck off. Yep. And that leaves me more good brisket at the end.
Yes.
Like, so either way, I'm protecting it.
Correct.
Some it's just inherent, and I would guess that I would end up cutting off more before than I would after.
Right.
Like if I take it off and I look at it and it's like, these corners are terrible, I slice it off. Somebody's going to be standing there while I'm doing it anyway, and they'll be like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm thinking, that's dry as shit. But enjoy, my friend.
So when you're looking at brisket, and we mentioned this before too, that's part of the reason why I rarely buy a case brisket. Mm-hmm. Like the Sam's Club, I'll order a case of pork butts in a second because I don't give a fuck what they look like. I don't care about the size, none of that shit. It's a pork butt. I give a fuck about a brisket.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Noah did a cook in which he got a case of brisket, and he had a monster 20-pounder in it that was absolutely gorgeous. But he also had a case brisket. When he pulled it out, it may have weighed 5 pounds. Yeah. And at the flat, at the thickest part, was like 1.5 inches. The edge, if it was 1/2 inch, it was doing something.
Yeah.
So it was basically the best thing he could have done was cook it as is, and knowing that you're going to lose 4 inches of this flat because it's just. So doing your selection, that's why I like putting my hands on these things. Yeah. And you also want to be able to feel the pliability in them. You want to look at the fat, all that shit. But you need to look at the flat to make sure you're not getting fucked by a paper thin flat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the first one that I did was a flat. It wasn't a full brisket.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Like I cooked it like I would any other brisket, but not knowing like, oh, brisket, pick it up, throw it in, off we fuck. And again, it was fine, but I didn't understand the full packer brisket with the point and all that kind of stuff until I went back the next time. I was like, oh, that's the difference. Come to find out, it's actually also cheaper per pound.
Correct.
To get the full brisket. Again, we talked about cuts of meat and all that kind of stuff. The more that they have to cut your meat prior to you purchasing it, the more per pound that you're going to pay. So just a flat of brisket is going to could be $1 more per pound than the full packer brisket. And you have the point, you've got more fat content, which is more flavor. It's probably a bigger piece overall. And you might even pay less for that full brisket than you will for the flat.
Oh, yes, you can believe it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I think I mentioned it in our brisket episode that I'll have people call me, say, hey, I got a brisket. What do I need to do? I said, send me a picture of your brisket.
Yeah.
Because I need to know what you have. Okay.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do with that is throw it the fuck away. It's a 3-pound brisket and cube it up, make chili. I don't know what the fuck you're going to do with that. You're not going to smoke it.
Yeah.
So this is what you need. Well, I don't need a 15-pound brisket. Oh, en contraire, mon frere.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It freezes well. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
Yep. And actually, I think before I did just the flat, I was in Sam's or Food Kitty and saw they have like the little 1-pound pieces of brisket. Yeah. I think I cooked one of those. And
hey, crock pot meal? Yeah.
Oh, I did on the smoker. Again, I not knowing what I'm doing. Put it on the smoker. And again, like we talked about and when we first started, the bigger the piece of meat, the bigger the window that you have and grace that you have with your temperature. More a 1-pound piece of brisket. One, it's very lean.
There's your window.
Yeah. Two, like you have to be watching it. So when it gets to 165, you're pulling it, you're wrapping it, and then you're probably I don't even know if it will get tender. Again, it's so small. There's not much in it to loosen up. So
and then you gotta look too, with something that small, you're not gonna have the fat content. So you're gonna start a 1-pound brisket, you're still going to end up with really close to, I don't know, you might end up with 10, 12 ounces of meat. Yeah. Because you don't have the fat content.
Yeah, and it's gonna be more like a jerky.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's gonna be pretty dry. So yeah. I had a buddy send me a method, a hot and fast brisket method, and it was. A second.
You can name Brian. It's fine.
Nobody's
going to hate him for it.
Where did it go? I told him, I said, I looked at it and I was like, did you send it to me? He's like, yeah. I said, all right, I'll have to look at it, look for it again. So 350 degrees until internal temperature of 170, boil boat with an open top, 6 ounces of apple juice, turn it down to 250 until internal temperature 195, and then let it rest, go from there. And the picture that he shows is amazing. That Brian got from the face space. It looks great. Got a nice smoke ring. Looks juicy. Like you can see the juices running out of it. It looks fantastic. So we were talking. I looked at it, and I called him back, and I said, Brian, I think the only thing that I would do different is I think I'd let it go a little bit longer than 195. Like I'd check it with my instant probe temperature. Yeah, or thermometer to see if it's probe tender. If it's probe tender, then pull it. But I think 195 might be a little low.
A little low. Yeah.
Because I don't know that it's going to carry over. Like you figure when you wrap it
open top, being open top, I don't know that it will either. It may. Yeah. Don't know, but it's going to depend on a piece of meat, I think.
So I keep trying to tell him to get a brisket. I told him I'm going to get him a brisket for Christmas. So
he needs to get on the boat.
Yeah. I don't cook a whole lot of briskets anymore just because they take so fucking long. Yeah. Like I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock. I don't want to put it on at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, wrap it, put it back on, get up at 6 with the kids. Like it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
It's fantastic. It's worth it. But like I just don't want to
deal with it.
Yeah. And truthfully, like, again, not that I don't have friends with vacuum sealers and all that kind of stuff, but like, what am I going to do with 15 pounds of brisket when I'm really the only one in the house that eats it?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll have brisket frozen for a year.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it might be worth trying that out. And see
So
what
I
happens.
mentioned in a previous episode that I was doing a barbecue competition in Chincoteague
Mm-hmm.
and did it for several years, all that. Well, I met some folks from Wilmington, Delaware. I believe they are called Bang Bang Barbecue. And they cook with barrel smokers. And all these teams are up in the middle of the night. They start immediately, you know, after we do the meeting. They go back to their stations and they start cooking immediately. These folks go to bed. Turn in time start at like 2:30 and run until like 4:30. And they go to bed. They wake up at 6. They cook their breakfast. They do all this shit. And then they fire up their barrels and they start turning in shit at 2:30, 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever time the turn ins are. That's brisket. That's pork. That's chicken. That's all that shit. They do hot and fast. So I said, and that was part of the reason why I built the, because I wanted to start doing hot and fast.
Yeah.
Just to see what the hubbub's about.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend $800 on a barrel smoker, so I made my own.
Yeah.
Well, once I figured out doing, of course, a pork butt to start with, first pork butt was done in 4 hours.
Wow.
And that's running 325. I'm not brave enough to do 350 yet, you know.
Yeah.
So then I started running the Langs at 300 and cutting 4 and 5 hours off of my cook times, which again, time's money. And I'm saving a shit ton of wood by running hot and fast like that. Now, not 350 hot, of course, because I found out at that temperature, if your flow is not correct, it's going to start burning the grease on the bottom, and nobody likes that shit. So you've got to have your thing leveled right. It's got to be draining good, all that. And yeah, it works. I can't tell a difference in flavor between 225, 250 and the 325.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I'm cheating on 225. You know what I mean? Had stickers made the whole 9 yards, and here I am cooking it anywhere between 275 and 325, depending on which way the wind's fucking blowing.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if because like a lot of that time is spent, a lot of that heat is spent getting everything else up to temperature. So I wonder if you ran it at 325 for an hour.
Yeah.
And then knocked it down to 225, if that would be a difference. But if you're not noticing a difference,
none at all. None at all. The bark's the same. The flavor's the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. And they're winning competitions with the barrel smokers. I mean, they are, in fact, every year that I was down in Chincoteague, they won something in every category.
Wow.
They might not have been number one, but they won something in every category.
Wow.
Yeah, I was amazed. And he built his 2 barrel smokers, and they're on the gram, and I'm pretty sure it's Bang Bang Barbecue.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, maybe it's Facebook they're on. Either way, they're on social media. Nice people. fantastic people will talk to you about barbecue all day long, which is you find in the barbecue circles. Everybody wants to talk about barbecue, and they never met anybody that wasn't a friend. And fantastic folks. Can't say enough about them. And their chicken was freaking fantastic. They were doing the chicken thighs. They were deboning them and making them into the little pucks, little chicken pucks, putting them in the cupcake tins.
Ooh.
Oh my God, dude. They were something else.
You have to send it to me.
Bang Bang Barbecue Competition Team is what it is. They're out of Wilmington, Delaware, and that's what they're, and that's on Facebook.
On the face space. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm trying to see if they got a picture of their homemade smokers, and their shit was good. I mean, that's no, they slept all night, so they were fresh, but they've got their shit squared away, man.
Yeah, you got dialed in.
Yep. They have timers set. They're the ones, I don't know if you know, but in barbecue competitions, they do like an 8:30 or 9 o'clock shot in the morning. And it's apparently it's tradition in competitions. You do maybe it's 8:31, some shit like that, or 9:31, I don't know. They call every team together in the center of the big field. Everybody's on the outside with their shit set up. They call everybody to the center and give everybody a shot for good luck. You know, I'm like, damn.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And apparently it's barbecue tradition. I don't know.
Huh. When's the next one?
The person who did the competition has moved to another area. Oh. And we discussed it last year, moving it to where they are now. I'm hoping that this year or next year, once they get settled, they redo it again where they are now. They went from Chincoteague to Rehoboth.
Okay.
So hopefully they do it up there. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Because now we have Annie, and we can take Annie with us and enjoy a nice weekend with her.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. So
yeah, all I'm looking at is really good food, and they haven't shown the smokers yet. But anyway,
yeah,
Bang Bang Competition Barbecue.
Yeah, I have to give them a follow.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's going to wrap up this show. So we talked a lot about different ways and like the little pet peeves. I say pet peeves, just different ways that people are doing stuff.
Different ways of doing it
with their brisket. So if there's something different that you guys do, or you've tried something that we talked about, or you have a question, whatever it is, give us a shout. Let us know what you're thinking. And, we'd love to talk about it. We'll get you on the show and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you next time.